First trick, like using a lot, is to use your natural talking rhythm as inspiration for melodies. Now, you may hear me saying this, you're like, what? Okay, what does that mean? Like that just says like one of these, high in the sky sort of things. Like, okay, you're supposed to look for the deeper meaning thing here. It's actually very simple. So, if you're looking for a melody idea, keep track of the way you say the kind of the rhythm for the way you say words. So, for instance, hello, how you are you doing? You notice you hear da 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 as kind of the consonants, the way I kind of announce that phrase. So, one idea that I like to use a lot is you take kind of the rhythm of that phrase and use that as a melody idea. In fact, that's how you kind of come up with a lot of vocal ideas, is where you're just taking words, you're putting a melody to them. So you're just kind of reversing the process. So let's take my hello, how you doing thing. So it's da 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 da. And there you go. You have a melody you can already work with. So you can do hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing? And just jump around like that. So you can grab other phrases. Maybe you can go, I don't know, maybe you can go find some famous speeches or something like that. Take the rhythm of the different sentences they say, and then, just put a melody on it. Just mess around and see if you can come up with something in terms of rhythm, because a lot of melodies, it really does all come down to rhythm. I mean, you have like maybe 7, 8 notes to work with. So really the variety comes with, okay, what rhythm are you doing? Obviously note selection, but yeah, a lot of it's down to rhythm. So this is one idea you can use to really help yourself come up with a really cool, catchy rhythm. Second idea, in terms of making melodies catchy, stay in a person's head, just get that earword in them, is to make it really whistleable, or, it's really easy to hum along to. Because you notice if I'm doing like a Beethoven piece or something else, it's like da-da-da-da. Everything, if he has all these crazy arpeggiations and you're trying to like whistle along with it and everything. I mean, I'm sure if you listen to it a lot, you could probably whistle to it eventually. But the way you kind of make it easier, especially if you're composing more jingles, things that you want people to really easily catch along to, you want to make them simple. You don't want any like super or not too many drastic jumps. It's a lot of fluid movement. And the best litmus tests I've found for determining whether you have a good melody, if it's easy to whistle. So if you find yourself, you're like really straining to whistle it, or maybe it's going a little bit too high, a little bit too lower, probably a lot harder for other people to catch along with. So if criteria for making a good melody is for other people to sing along with it, I find that making it easily whistleable is a great criteria for doing the limits test on that. Another way, find the best melody, just to make a lot of them, because and I know this is super revolutionary of an idea for you, but really, I think it was like everything, like a bunch of art. You can go look back. I think everybody from Picasso to like a bunch of other your favorite artists. A lot of them will kind of preach this point to no end, where really, the best melody ideas are just they just made so many of them that eventually there was one good one stuck out. So when you're composing, maybe not necessarily don't latch on to the first good one right away. Maybe make 5, 6. I find I go through like 7 to 10 melody ideas. Before I find one, I'll latch onto and make a song. When I was starting out, I think it was like anywhere from, about that range. It just took me a lot longer to make them. So another technique in terms of making melodies and jingles, just make a lot of them and then choose what you think is the best one from there. And then another thing, it's not so much about the melody, just more about the context behind the melody. Really, when you start getting into chord progressions, kind of the chords you choose to go back and behind the track will really give a different feeling to the melody and jingle you feel. So in the next few videos, I'll be showing you guys a basic major chord progression. It's usually called the 1-4-5 in C major. It's super easy, has a very warm, happy feel. So if you were to play, let's say, I'll just play it for you right now. So I'm doing the 1. See, it has a very happy feel. So if I'm playing a melody on it, gives it a very warm feel if I'm doing these chords along with it. Now, let's say I play that same melody, except I do it in a minor key, where I'm taking the middle note, putting it down half a step. This may get a little bit more technical, but this just kind of gives you guys a taste of at least how much a chord progression can really change the sound and the feel of a melody altogether. So just another thing to consider putting in your toolkit. So this is what we'll do a minor chord progression. This would be a minor 1, 4, 5. So notice a very much darker feel to it. I only changed, at least in terms of the melody, I only changed one note. I changed the E to what's called an E flat, so half a step down. Turned it down a little bit because, at least within the C minor scale, which is what I'm playing at, the regular white key E doesn't feature. You play more of the black notes. So that's the only one I changed. If you notice, the first two notes I played, even though they were exact same two notes, they sounded so much darker when I played a minor chord behind them. So that's something else you want to consider when you're composing melodies and jingles. Kind of consider what usually in music theory is called the mode, the chords you're using. This will really affect the overall feel of it. Finally, if you really want to, make a good melody that sticks on a person's head or a jingle, at least once you make it, you just have to repeat it a lot through the track. Because, like everything else from practicing a skill to, learning a poem, or in this case, learning a melody, really comes down just to repetition, and eventually, after the listener hears it 5 or 6 times throughout the track, it'll get stuck in their head. So these are the 5 tips I suggest you guys that I like to use in a lot of my melodies for making them better, kind of different tools I use for them. Again, there are no rules, just tools in music. So feel free to take these, try them out in your melodies, see if they make them better, see if they make them worse. And yeah, let your ear be the final litmus test on making your own melody.